are you? Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would share with you baby Jakey's 2-month update. We missed our 1-month update, so I'm going to try and fill you in on how he's been going and include some of the first month milestones and hiccups that we've had as well. But I'm going to share with you where he's up to now. I've got a lot of notes here to read off, and I've got him in my arms, so hopefully we can get through it pretty quickly before he wakes up. But yeah, he's doing really well. I'm very happy. We are all so happy to have him part of our family, and I don't know, he's 10 weeks and 2 days old, you guys. How did that even happen? He's growing up too fast. He's my little Tonka Tonk. That's what we call him here. He's so much bigger than Sam was when he was a baby, so it feels so weird to be holding a baby this large at 10 weeks old, but yeah, here we are. I'm going to stop rambling. We're going to get into it as quickly as we can because there is a lot to get through. So baby Jakey has not had the best run ever since he was born. So with the birth vlog, you guys would have seen that it pretty much cut off as soon as they put him on top of me. That's because we weren't supposed to be filming in the first place, so the footage that we got, I'm so thankful that we did get. But secondly, I managed to get him to latch on straight away, or he latched on straight away. He did it all by himself and everything was going well. And then for whatever reason, even though I said to them I wanted to have skin to skin for an hour, they took him away, and then they put clothes on him, and then they took him away. I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy about the whole situation. If you've been following us for a while, Jakey is our 8th pregnancy. We have one living child, Samuel, apart from Jake, one living child, Samuel, who is 5, then Jackson, who was born at 21 weeks a couple of years ago, and now Jakey. And all 3 babies I didn't get to, well, I got to bring Jakey home with me, but Sam had a 3-week stay in the NICU. He was taken away from me like 10 minutes after birth, and he was taken to the NICU 10 minutes after birth. Jackson, he was stillborn, and then Jakey was taken to the NICU probably about half an hour after birth. And yeah, it's really affected me. I don't know how else to explain it. It's all you want is your babies to be healthy and happy, and I know that they probably did what they thought was right or what was right, but in my eyes, I feel like if they just left him on me and he could have drunk some more colostrum and had a bit more skin to skin time, he would have done so much better and might not have needed that stay in the NICU, which would have helped my mental health a lot more. I could be wrong. He might have still needed to go down there, but it was really hard for me, and especially during the whole COVID thing as well. Not having the support there, not having Matt and Sam there with me. I gave birth. A few hours later, Matt had to go home to look after Sam, and I was literally in a hospital room again by myself with babies crying in the rooms next to me, which is the same as Sam. And yeah, I'm not going to get into that too much today because I am going to do a postpartum update, but I feel like everything kind of went downhill 10 minutes after he was born. So he was taken to the NICU and put in an incubator. He stayed there overnight, and by the morning he was in just an open cot, and then he got to come back to the room at 1:30. So it wasn't the end of the world. Most people would probably just say, what are you going on about? Just get over it. I know that all feelings are valid. This is how I'm feeling. And I think it's just post-traumatic stress coming back to bite me in the butt. But yeah, that's just, I feel like a lot of his issues might have been avoided if he was just left with me. I don't know. At 2 weeks old, baby Jakey had to go back to the hospital as well. We had to go to the emergency room because he got sick. And I'm assuming it's because Samuel doesn't quite understand personal space yet. He is 5 years old. But he hasn't quite grasped the whole personal space, and for the life of me, even now, 10 weeks later, I still cannot get him to stop touching Jake's face. It drives me absolutely crazy. We tell him 100 times a day. I feel like all I do is tell Sam off. But he did get sick. He got a virus. We went to our local hospital, which referred us to a different hospital, and that particular hospital lost his poo sample, didn't really do anything to help me whatsoever. The doctors were useless. And then they just sent us home. Basically, he gained weight while we were there, so they just said, keep breastfeeding, he'll be fine. That was a bit hard for me to deal with. I'd never experienced anything like that before. Essentially, he was screaming, out of control screaming, for a few days straight, and he had a lot of mucus in his poo. His poo had turned from the mustard breastfed poo to like a really green, like a dark green poo, with a lot of mucus in it, and then obviously diarrhea as well, so a lot of runny poos. And I was really concerned about it. They did absolutely nothing there. I ended up spending 2 nights there, and to be honest, I probably should have just stayed at home with him. All I did to try and make him feel better was do extra feeds and feed on demand, and I pumped as much as I could so that I could just keep giving him more and more milk to keep his fluids up. But that sickness lasted him probably a couple of weeks. He was sick for a really, really long time. A lot of you guys on social media suggested that it could have been a lactose thing. Both the doctors at that particular hospital and also Women's and Children's said that isn't the case. Just based on his symptoms and what they experienced and whatnot, they just said that it wasn't a food allergy thing, it was a gastro bug or an incomplete gut, is what the Women's and Children's doctors said. So they said a lot of babies have this problem happen a couple of weeks after birth. Their tummies just aren't developed enough to handle daily life, and it just happens. So he's been pretty good since then. I'm still drinking dairy here and there. I have cut out quite a bit of dairy just in case they're wrong. But even with me drinking tea in the morning and the occasional milk drink here and there, he's perfectly fine. I did start giving him some Biogia. I'll have a little picture here somewhere. I'll try and find a picture for you so you can see. It's a probiotic. I did start giving him that because a mum at kindy and also Sam's kindy teacher recommended it, and that helped him so much. So I do believe that it was an immature gut thing, and the probiotics are helping. It's very expensive, but worth it. I also started giving him some gripe water as well when he has bad days or worse days, and between both of those things, they're really helping him. Other than that, he's doing really, really well. He's meeting all of his milestones, and he's a pretty healthy baby. He is colicky. He does cry a lot more than Sam, especially between the hours of like 4 and 7. I know that babies have like a witching hour. Jakey has 3 of them. And then obviously other times of the day, he does pretty much, unless he's on the boob or getting cuddles from somebody between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m, he screams. screams. He's a very sooky baby, but he does love his cuddles, and I'm not complaining about that at all. I'm soaking it all in. He's so big now already. I can't believe how big he's gotten, but he does love his mummy cuddles, and he loves daddy cuddles too. Sammy cuddles, not so much, and I think it's just because Sam, like I said earlier, has no idea about personal space, and is just a little bit rough. He doesn't really understand yet, but he does love Jakey so much, and we're all so happy to have him here with us. Another thing that happened in his first month of life was he had a heart echo. If you, again, been following our journey, you would know that our second baby had hyperplastic left heart, and we just wanted to make sure baby Jakey's heart was perfectly fine. Sam's had an echo too to check his heart. Both Sam and Jakey had heart murmurs at birth, but that's all been put to rest. Everything is looking fine. They didn't see anything out of the ordinary with him. Granted, he didn't sit very still, so they had a hard time doing it, but they didn't see anything they were concerned about. So that was such a huge relief for us. I bawled my eyes out the entire way home that day. I don't know, it just, all of the emotions hit me at once. I'm still a hormonal wreck, but yeah, everything is going well with him so far. Hopefully he'll grow out of the colic thing soon, colicky period of his life soon, and then he can just be a happy baby again. In terms of his health checks and his weights and things like that, he is currently sitting in roughly the 15th percentile. Actual corrected, he's sitting around the 50th percentile, so he's doing really well. He's definitely meeting his goals that way. He is 4.645 kilos at the moment, or 4,645 grams. I don't know how much that is in pounds and ounces. I will put that on the screen for you guys in the States so you know. He's 55.5 centimeters long and his head circumference was 37 centimeters. That was a couple of weeks ago, so at the end of this video I will try and weigh him. I've seen some people do it on the Thermomix. Keep an eye out for that, it should be interesting. I thought I'll give it a go and we'll try and weigh him at the end of this video and see how he's doing. I do have a list of milestones that babies should reach at 2 months old as well, so I'll go through some of those and we'll talk about his milestones. In terms of communication and language skills, their cries should be more distinct for hunger and pain, so I can definitely tell the difference between his hunger cries and his pain and his poop cries, especially because when he poops he kicks his legs quite a bit, so his cries are definitely becoming more distinct. He should be gurgling and cooing. He does, you guys. If I can get him to do it, I will include some footage of that at the end of the video. It's so cute. And he should smile in response to being talked to. He started smiling. It's the best thing in the world. Random smiles. I love them. And he should be able to turn his head to whoever is speaking, and that he does, especially when Dad talks. He really loves Dad and me and Sam. He tries to get away from poor Sam. He gets the raw end of the stick with this. In terms of movement and physical development, it says here that he should be able to hold his head up during tummy time. He should have good head control when upright. His newborn reflexes start to go away and his fists remain unclenched half of the time. So he's still having his fists clenched quite a bit, which is fine. He's not quite 2 months old yet, I guess, if you go by the 40-week mark. His newborn reflexes, he still has it a lot. I actually have to have him, if he's going to be asleep, in his love to dream swaddles. If he's not in a swaddle, he will wake himself up within 5 minutes. He will not sleep without being swaddled. So he is in his swaddle for a good portion of the day for that reason. And these ones are amazing. If you haven't used them before and you're looking for a swaddle, these are amazing. He's still in the small size. I never actually bought a newborn size. I just went straight to the small size, although he is getting a little bit snug in them. Probably in the next month or so I'll have to go up to the medium size. And he does have really good head control, so when he is having tummy time he can like push himself up and kind of look around a bit. When he's sitting in my arms he can hold his head up fine. So he's doing really well with that too. I'm really pleased with how he's going. I feel like he's meeting most of his milestones, probably even earlier than what Sam did. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes with crawling and walking and talking. Gosh. In some ways I hope that he is a bit delayed like Sam, because it was nice to not have a crawler for a really long period of time. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this house. It's a bit hard to put baby gates up compared to our old house. In terms of social skills and emotional development, it says he should be able to comfort himself by putting his fists in his mouth. He should look at parents when nearby and smile when he's happy. He doesn't really comfort himself very often. When he starts screaming, he screams for a very long period of time, and I put that down to the colic thing. So I definitely don't think he's meeting that milestone, although he has started putting his fists in his mouth, so that's good. He does look around at us when we're nearby, so he's meeting that one. And like I said before, he's starting to smile. It's just starting to happen now. So if I can get a smile for you, I'll try and get that at the end of the video as well. And then last but not least, his cognitive skills. He should be letting you know if he gets bored by being fussy, and he should be alert to sounds. And he should be able to focus on faces and objects side to side, and he is meeting all of those requirements. And then I guess lastly, I just wanted to touch base on his breastfeeding journey. He is breastfeeding really well. He's got a great latch. He's had a great latch ever since he was born. He, like I said earlier, latched on straight away, and he's just, I don't know if you can see this, guys. Look how chunky his little face is. It's chunky. You're my chunky monkey, hey? Yes. So he's doing really, really well with the breastfeeding. I plan to breastfeed him for at least a year. That is my goal. I guess it gives me a little bit of anxiety because I would really like to have another baby. Matt probably not so much, especially since he's a bit colicky. But I did not get my period back after Sam until I stopped breastfeeding. I think it was like 13 or 14 months after birth that I got my period back. So as much as we want another baby, and it would be great if I could get pregnant sooner rather than later, I'm not going to give up breastfeeding to have another baby. So yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. He is still feeding every 2 to 3 hours, and like I said before, he's very fussy between 4 and 7 and cluster feeds around that time. So last night, for instance, he fed at 1:30, 2:30, 3:30 and 5:30. That was a rough night. Generally he'll have a feed at 11:30 and then he'll wake up at 1:30, and then sometimes he'll still wake up at 3:30, sometimes he'll sleep through until 5:30. Just depends on how much he drinks throughout the night. I try not to wake him up too much. I just give him like dream feeds and send him back to bed, and I try not to change his nappy either. That is pretty much it for this video and this update. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to leave you here with a little bit of footage of me weighing him, so you'll get to see how much he actually weighs today, and hopefully it works. I don't know if it will work. I've seen pictures of people weighing their babies on their Thermomix, so hopefully it works. So we're going to do that, and then hopefully I can add some footage at the end of this video of him cooing and smiling for you so you can see that as well. But I hope you liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys. I have the Thermomix set up. We're going to try and do something a little unconventional. I am going to try and weigh Jakey on the Thermomix. I've seen it done before, admittedly with probably smaller babies. But we're going to give it a go. Are you ready to go on there? I do have a nappy and an outfit on there. And it's Ted, ready to go. So I'm just going to change Jakey's nappy. And we're going to see how much he weighs today. Hey, can you see how much he weighs? Oh, and he's very grumpy this afternoon. Okay.
Let's turn the thing on.
I think he's too heavy for it. Okay, so clearly that didn't work, but it made for some pretty cute photos, didn't it, Sam? I'm assuming the Thermomix has a maximum weight limit, and this little guy has exceeded that, clearly.